We're joined now by the father of UCLA's stellar freshman Lonzo Ball, LaVar Ball. Welcome to Undisputed.
Welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Awesome to have you.
Okay.
So Lonzo's coach, Steve Alford, had some high praise for your son. Here's what he said. He plays downhill at a pace nobody else in the country can play at. He's 6'6", he's long, but I swear he can dribble it while he's in the air. He can definitely pass while he's in the air. He advances the ball either by dribble or pass faster than any point guard in the country. So, LaVar, what do you think of Coach Alford's assessment of Lonzo?
I think that's a great assessment of him. He's been playing like that all his life. Like I said, Zoe's goal was to play in the league. And as you're small, the game gets faster and faster. I taught him how to play at this speed when they was babies, on the fact that the goal is to play as fast as possible.
So, LaVar, I'm not going to tell you how to be a parent or what you should and shouldn't do, because all intents and purposes look like you raised three great young men. But do you think you might have went out on the limb a little bit too far when you said your son, who's a college freshman at UCLA, is better than Steph Curry, a two-time MVP, with the last time being unanimous?
No. On the fact that I have the utmost confidence in what my son does. And just because I say he's better than somebody, who cares? I believe it. So I don't care what nobody else says. You can judge on your own.
But you, sitting here looking at you, listening to you, and spoke a little bit off camera, this is not hyperbole. You sincerely believe this.
I believe it. I know it. And it's just like, I know what work my boy put in.
Right.
You know, for me to say that.
Right.
And so I'm not going to, just because somebody else has titles, I'm not disliking Steph Curry or nothing.
Right.
What he's done for himself, that's for him.
Right.
But I know what my boys are about. And it's like I said, Lonzo was the best player in high school.
Right.
He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average.
Right.
We're coming for everybody.
Right. So let me Skip. I mean, hey, but do you think you're adding undue? I understand he was the best player in college. He was the best player in high school. But do you think you're adding undue pressure?
First of all, your pressure and our pressure is two different things.
Okay.
There's no pressure in sports. It's entertainment. Life-threatening situations, that's pressure.
Right.
Like I've always told my boys from day one, if you're coming home and they say you got to leave and you don't have nothing to eat for 2 weeks, that's pressure. My foot on your throat, I'm about to kill you, that's pressure.
Right.
But telling me something, you can't hurt me or my boys by telling something. Now, 2x4 upside the head, you might hurt. But as far as this is not pressure, it's entertainment. And the more people to watch, the better we like it.
You raising entertainers, not ball players.
Hey, evidently, they was ball players when they came out the womb.
Evidently. So, as you step back from this, does Lonzo ever come to you and say, Pop, you got to back off just a little bit because you're just laying it on a little too thick for me?
See, that's what y'all can do. That's when you raise your kids, they can come up and say, hey, Pop, you can't come up and tell me nothing. I'm the one paying when I'm raising you. So they never gonna come to me and be like, Dad, you need to tone it down. Wait a minute, I'm my man, you your man. But you become your own man when you move away from me.
That's true.
Oh, excuse me, if you don't mind me asking, where are you from?
I'm from LA South Central.
Because, see, you got old Southern values. See, that's how my grandfather talked to his kids. Like, I'm always going to be dad.
Right.
And just because you're a man, don't think you usurp me all of a sudden.
Right.
Because I'm still dad, and I'm still the man, and you're going to be respectful of me in my house at all times.
I ain't got to say nothing, Shannon. You know where I'm coming from, man. You know where I'm coming from.
So how good were you in high school as a player?
In high school as a player, I didn't play sports until the 10th grade. Okay, but I was faster and stronger than a lot of people. But my dad's mindset wasn't like, okay, let me get my sons in sport. He made it's 5 boys and 2 girls in our family, but he made us all.
Where were
faster.
you in the?
I'm like in the middle.
Okay.
I have an older brother and 2 older sisters, and then 3 younger brothers.
Okay.
But as far as athletically, we were superb in that.
Right.
But my
So
dad
when you
never
started in 10th grade, what happened? How
in 10th grade, I played varsity, and you know, in high school, you played.
Where were you in?
Canoga Park.
I got it.
Yes, went out to the valley.
All right.
All right. I just played the seasons. Football season, played football. Basketball, played basketball. Instead of playing baseball, I didn't love that too much, so I did track.
Yeah.
So now the new age, you do everything all year long. It's just like football. Then you have a little spring practice, 7-on-7. So if you're trying to do one thing now, you can't do all the sports because you're gonna fall back. It's just like basketball. It's all year long now. It's not just with the AAU.
Did you have a chance to play in college?
I played in college. I played at, I had to go to a junior college the first couple of years on the fact that my grades was terrible. You know, I'm playing in high school just for just to love to play, you know, and then you get the exposure of everybody liking you or whatever like that. And then I went to West LA and played, and then I transferred to Washington State. Actually, it was the Pac-10 back then, and Calvin Sampson was the coach.
Oh.
But everybody was thinking, when I went up there from JUCO, averaged 23 points and 13 rebounds. Oh. But when we get up there, the fact that he's not playing fast, and now I look defiant playing. So I'm averaging now 4 points and 2 rebounds sitting on the bench. Because whenever I get in there, if I'm open, I'm shooting. if I got a layup or a dunk, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to pass the ball 10 times, which I thought we were going to play like that. We ended up averaging like 40 points. And that's when I transferred out of there to Cal State LA. And got my numbers back to 18 and 10. But I only had 1 more year to play.
So why did you, of all the, I mean, UCLA is a great school. It was not like the UCLA of the days of Wooden and Walton and Kareem, who I sent at the time. Why not, you wanted your boys to stay close to home? Why not Duke, North Carolina, Kansas?
Okay, we from the West. So basically my boy loves living in this warm weather. So I alleviated all the East Coast schools, even though they wanted us. You know, but I'm not going to dangle you along saying we might go there, Syracuse, Connecticut, or whatever. No. And like I said, West LA, or not West LA, UCLA is the best school on the West Coast, if you think about it. Any point guard is halfway decent is going to get a shot at the league. I'm looking at it in that aspect and the fact that if Lonzo wants to go play open gym, let's say this year, with a bunch of pros, you know he can always say, Jello, Mello, come with me. Now you got your younger brothers get this experience. You can't do that in the East Coast. You ain't gonna fly them on the plane all the time. We got a lot of family that follow us. They older. They can't be flying on no planes and stuff. But to go up the freeway, I always told my boys this. You always want to be in a place where if everything is not going good, you still want to be there. Now, you Kentucky Duke, you know, you got a sprained ankle or leg, and your family not around, do you really want to be out there? And that's how we looked at it.
So when your boys were kids, like little kids, did you have to encourage them to play basketball, or did they just want to play right away?
I put them in baseball. I put them in football, flag football. Lonzo and Jello said, if you're not pitching or hitting in baseball, it sucks.
That's true.
You know, the football, you can only play up so high because it's a size difference that happens in. Basketball, they start developing such a major passion for it. And they kind of went in their own lane. And that's why people look at me and be like, oh, man, you play football. How come your boys are not playing football? Jello's is big. In football, just because you're big don't mean you can play. You got to be wild up here. You can't just be like, hey, I can bench press 700 and I run. As soon as somebody hits you upside your head, you foul. That's a foul. No, that ain't no foul. So they took when they were like 4th grade, they were beating teams that were like middle school, 8th grade, but we were beating them like 80 to 40, just outrunning them, out shooting. We couldn't outpower them. But we can shoot from 30 feet.
And you were coaching right away?
Coaching them
all the way up?
Yes, all the way up.
So you coached your kid, if I read correctly, I think you coached them until they got to what, like high school? Your AAU coach, and then you turned it over to the high school coach.
Well, on the high school coach, you can just fly solo now. You good. What I did is instilled something in them that nobody can get out of them now. The long shots, can't take it out of them. You say, oh, it's a bad shot. Oh, okay. Get out there, we'll shoot it again. But my boys are willing to take those shots and they know what come with it. What I mean by that, I've taught them this. Every time you win, it's not your fault. You better say, all your players made you win. That guy usually get 4 rebounds, he got 6 rebounds. He got 8 points, now he got 12 points. But when you lose, it's your fault. Even if you had 40 points, 20 rebounds, and 30 assists. Who cares? You didn't do enough. And I've been teaching them that from this big. So whenever something happens bad for a team and people talk about them and say, oh, you shot them out the game, it doesn't bother them because they got a callus because I've did it for such a long. Like in our house, we did a lot of winning. There's no trophies in the house. It doesn't justify us winning. We expect to win every single time. And you're going to lose sometime, but it's cool. Because when we win, like I said, point the finger at everybody else when you win. When you lose, regardless of what you did, say, yeah, I just didn't do enough. I didn't get my guys ready right. And it's cool.
Lonzo has a little bit of an unorthodox shot. It goes in, and it goes in from long distance. Did you teach it, or did he just develop it himself and you encouraged it?
And when I had him shooting, at first he had the ball on the right side shooting like this. But as we were playing older players, he started dribbling to the left because everybody was fading to the right, so now you got to go to the left. So when he would go to the left hard, the only way he can get it off is this. And like I said, I got 3 boys, and they all shoot the heck out of the ball. But check this out. Not one of them had the same form. Because I've always told them, perfect your form and you good. Because you can have a guy who shoots perfect form. Let's say he got perfect form, but ain't no shots dropping. Who cares? You're not any good. But if you got this raggedy form and you put it in the basket, you're a great shooter. But then again, I'll go about great shooters. Tell me this. You like a guy who go 10 for 10 from the three-point line, but he can't win a game. And then you got my sons who go 2 for 10, but they make the 2 game-winning shots. Who's the better shooter?
I'll take the game winner.
You're a money guy. You want to chips on the line.
On the line, let's do it.
It's all about the clutch gene.
Exactly.
That's what Skip's up to.